Okay, we're recording. I've discovered to my embarrassment that I didn't quite understand how Hurtzones worked. I've tried a couple of times to make a tutorial video about them, and it's always blown up in my face. I suppose that's why they're called Hurtzones. One of the bugs which I discovered in Hurtzones is that if you set the damage to something negative, it has some bizarre effects which I don't like as a game designer, so I've essentially corrected that bug and created another build. Anyways, here's the editor. Load up Escape. I've actually changed the starting room in Escape to this dummy room which I've created called Pain Corridor. The point of the Pain Corridor at this point is to demonstrate hurt zones. Hurt zones are actually on the front widget start and goal layer. This is kind of a hodgepodge of miscellany layer. The way you create a new one is you click on this blue icon here, the one with the electrocuted skull in red here. This brings up the wizard that allows you to create a new hurt zone. There's color controls up here. The color is randomly chosen from anything within the minimum and maximum here. So if you set it to red at minimum and purple at maximum, it'll actually create a rainbow colored hurt zone, very much like what the boss can generate. And there's basically two ways that you can create a hurt zone. You can create it to fire constantly, in which case you'd put 0 here, 0 in everything except the damage, which I'll set to 2 here, and the fire chance denominator, which I'll set to 1, because if you set the denominator to 0, it will complain. You can also tell it when you're creating it whether you want the hurt zone to be vertical or horizontal. I'll choose vertical, click OK. Then I scroll over to here, and here's the hurt zone palette object. In the upper left corner, there's the electrocuted skull in red. This D2 in red, that tells you that that's what the damage is. CD is short for cooldown. It's in green. It's 0 because I've set it to fire off constantly. Setting it to 0 does that. DU is the duration in blue. Again, that's 0 because it's set to fire off constantly. This works very similarly to setting enemies, except instead of setting the enemy's patrol, you're actually setting the height and depth of the hurt zone. So there's the hurt zone. Should flash rainbow colors. I'll just save this so that I can demonstrate with the game how it works. I've learned my lesson and actually had the game going. I actually started the game before I started the tutorial. Now that was weird. As you can see, this rainbow hurt zone is flashing continuously. It's going in rainbow colors, every color of the rainbow. I'll have Applejack walk into it to demonstrate. As you can see, it chipped 2 hearts off her health bar. Now, I'll create another hurt zone that goes intermittently, and I'll make it red. This, milliseconds between firings, tells you what the minimum time is between the start of one firing and the start of the next firing. I'll set that to 6,000, which is 6 seconds. Duration in milliseconds, that tells you how long anything is visible. This includes both the sparks and the actual electricity that damages the player. I'm going to set this to 4,000, which is 4 seconds. Warn time here is the duration of the sparks. This is intended to be a subset of the duration in milliseconds here. I'll set that to 2,000 so the player has 2 seconds of warning. I'll set the damage to 7. That should insta-kill anybody. A fire chance numerator and denominator, that controls the percent chance that a given hurt zone will actually fire on any given tick of the clock. I'll set the chance to 1 in 10. You can set this to anything. You can make it 3 in 10. The one thing you can't do is put 0 in the denominator. I'll make this hurt zone horizontal. Click OK. Scroll over here, and as you can see, there's a damage 7, cooldown 6, duration 4, hurt zone here. It's got a red border around it. Scroll a little ways this way, and It doesn't really make much sense from a level design perspective to make a horizontal hurt zone periodic like that, unless of course it was a vertical bottleneck, like if there was a platform here and you jump down here in order to progress in the level. Then it would make some sense, but I'm just dinking around with it here. I'll make a couple more. Let's try making a green one. I'll set it to just 1 in 5. It should be going constantly when you do that. I'll set the damage to 1, warn time 2000 again, duration 4000, milliseconds between firings. If I set this to 4000, it would be going constantly, but this is also a given, so actually I'm going to set this to 10,000. 10 seconds between firings. I'll make it vertical. As you can tell, the average color for a rainbow is green, and so is the average color when you set it to green. Oh well. Let's do another one in blue. Blue is actually a pretty dark and uniform color, so I'm edging it into purple and green as well. Let's see, milliseconds between firings. I'll make this a rapid fire one. The duration is 2000, 1000, damage is 1. Let's give it a pretty low chance, 1 in 30. And I'll make it vertical this time. Make it stretch the whole way up and down. Okay, I'll do one more in the default color, which is between orange and yellow. I'll also make this one continuous, set the damage to 3 this time. Warn time, 0 of course. I'll make it vertical. Another obstacle you got to jump over. You know, I could make a ton of these, but I guess I'll just stop here. Save it. Now load it up. And the act of loading the game refills your hearts, as you can tell. Hop over this as Applejack. I should have used Rainbow Dash. This blue one is kind of hard to see. You got to take this kind of thing into account when you're designing the level, what color you're going to use and whether it shows up. Of course, maybe you're trying to trick the player. That has positive aspects and negative aspects. In general, you want to be very careful in subverting the player's expectations. As you can see, the green one is going off almost constantly. I mean, it does have the warn time that doesn't hurt you, but still. And the yellow one is going off constantly. Touch this as Rainbow Dash. It kills you, makes you respawn at the start of the level. Ow. Touch it as Applejack. You survive. So yeah, that's Hurtzones. One thing which I neglected to mention earlier, which I probably should have before I cleared everything out with some other tutorial videos, was you can edit Hurtzones by clicking this edit button. This edit button shows the goal on one half, it shows an umbrella on the other half. It actually works for editing the goal, it works for editing widgets, it also works for editing Hurtzones, but there's just no more real estate in this icon to demonstrate that. So what I have here is a Hurtzone that has 10 seconds between firings, 3-second duration, 1 in 30 chance to fire. Want to make that 1 in 1. That means it's guaranteed to fire once every 10,000 milliseconds, once every 10 seconds. Click OK. Save. I'm calling this Escape Zap Test for now. Okay, fire up the game. I'm going to have to build this once I prove that the bug is corrected. it was actually a bug that the green Hurtzone was firing more than once every 10 seconds. I've corrected that bug in the code. No idea why it's doing that. Fires once. Ten seconds later, it fires again. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000. And there it goes again. With a 3-second duration, that's a given. So there you have it, folks. That's how you edit a Hurtzone.